Good evening and welcome to the Tales of the TT Live, powered by Podium Vodka, the spirit of motorsport. So this evening's guest would have been set to be riding this week with a factory-backed Honda racing team alongside his teammate Glenn Irwin. On his debut in 2018 at the TT, he's set the record of second fastest newcomer. And yeah, it would have been an exciting week to see him back on the bike. So I'm sure he is a star of the future. Welcome, Mr. Davey Todd.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for joining us.
No problem at all. It's nice to be here.
Where are you joining us from? The northeast, I believe. Sunny northeast.
Yeah, I wish it was sunny. It's absolutely pouring down outside. It's not very nice there today. Not that it usually is, to be fair.
Well, it's not so sunny in Liverpool where I am either. So welcome, Davey. It's a sad time that the TT is not going ahead this year. It's going to be really, really exciting to see what you're going to deliver on the Honda. How have you felt not being able to be there this year and be competing alongside Glenn?
Yeah, absolutely. It's gutting. There's no other way to put it than we're completely devastated not to be there, to miss out on going there. It's had enough wait in 12 months for the TT to come around again. Never mind having to wait double that now. So it's a real disappointment, and especially with the opportunity that I had this year of signing for Honda and having such a amazing package together underneath me, and to be able to go to the TT with all that backing. I was really excited to get going, and it got put to a stop pretty quickly, which is a shame.
So in the last 2 years as well, it's been quite exciting to see what you've achieved, and you've been the talk of many of the road racing towns of what you've been doing over the last 2 years. It's such a short career, but you've definitely been there shining bright. So everybody's been keeping their eye on you. What is the biggest goal? So what is the big thing that you're aiming for with this new road racing career that you're carving out for yourself?
I don't know. It's sort of a weird question. Obviously, like any race, you want to win everything. I've always been competitive, no matter what I'm doing. Whether I racing my brother, up the stairs when you're younger, and it's just that competitive thing inside you, and you always want to win. And for sure, it's a goal for me to stand on the podium at the TT is my goal at the minute, and then for sure after that is to be on the top step of the podium. At the same time, I still haven't had a chance to show it yet, but that's another reason I was looking forward to this year, is getting back to short circuit racing and doing a little bit of that as well, and I still feel like I've got a lot to give in that sense too. So just trying to do everything. I just love racing, love riding my bike. So, and then winning obviously is a great little bonus, isn't it?
So when did you first come to the TT? You came to watch in 2017, is that right? Is that the first time that you came to visit?
Yeah, surprisingly, like most of the guys who've done it have sort of been brought up at the TT and been going there the whole life. And for me, I grew up off-road, so riding motocross and some super motorbikes and stuff when I was younger, and then it was only recently that I got onto tarmac and sports bikes. And yeah, just actually my season at BSB went sour and ended up losing my ride, and I was just trying to make ends meet, trying to make something happen, and ended up going to meet a few friends out of the TT in 2017. It's something that I always wanted to go to see what it's like. Everybody told me it was amazing and how good it was. So obviously I wanted to go and experience that. And finally got the opportunity to in 17, and slept in the back of someone's truck and on the floor, and just did what I could to be over there. And for sure in 17 was definitely the time that, as soon as I seen the first bikes go past me down Bray Hill, I was like, this is completely insane, and this is exactly what I want to do.
And the rest is history, hey?
Yeah.
So tell me, I want to touch on that whilst we talk about that part of the track. As a first time rider, when you're a newcomer and you come down Bray Hill and you get to Aggo's Leap, I mean, it's spectacular to watch. What's it like to ride for the first time?
It's terrifying.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Absolutely. I put in so much work to go to the TT for my first year. It wasn't a case of I want to go there and win in my first year or anything crazy. Just I didn't feel safe going there and not 100% knowing where I'm going and knowing the track to the best of my ability. So I put in so much work from that TT in 2017 where I went to spectate, and then fast forward to the TT in 18, I just spent those 12 months learning, trying to use every method possible to learn the track as good as possible. And so I got there and, felt completely prepared. The other guys, the other couple of newcomers that were alongside me, they were really nervous on the run up to it. And honestly, I didn't feel nervous at all. And, even the night before, I wasn't nervous. I was just excited to get out there. And then the second we set off down Bray Hill, I was absolutely terrified. It was, I don't know, it's just an insane feeling going around that place for the first time. There's nothing like it.
Coming from the background that you do, and obviously the taste for racing that you have, with the kind of track that it is, there's over 200 corners, like 37 3/4 mile track. Surely you can't go 100% all the way around. You've got to watch how much you're giving as you're learning the track, because I guess even if you're 15 years into the TT career, you're still learning the track, aren't you?
Yeah, that's it. And I had some great people around me who gave me some amazing advice when I was in those 12 months, learning the course and everything, and learning how to approach it for my first time. And everybody knows it takes so many years to learn. It's not a case of turn up there in your first year and go crazy speeds or do anything mad. And you just got to have a lot in reserve. It's not even a case of like 95%. It's like back at 80% of what you're capable of, and you're going so much slower than you can go, but because it's so difficult and there's so much to think about in those nearly 38 miles of course, you are always thinking, and you don't want to make a mistake. And I'd rather, when I went there, I would rather give myself room to make a mistake. And I didn't, but the room was left there for me to make mistakes. I wasn't running to the edges of the road, and just leave myself some room. And I think for your first few years, definitely that's what you need to do.
Great. So it is an interactive experience. So we will be getting some live questions. We've got Mike Assels, I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Who did you follow for your newcomers lap, and what was it like, and what do you remember from it? That's a great question, Mike.
It actually is a really good question. It was a terrifying experience. There's so much. It was possibly the worst experience for a newcomer's lap in the world. Like I said to you, I was so prepared. I wasn't nervous. Milky Quill, who'd taught me so much in the run up to the TT, he was the one who we followed around for the newcomers lap. They put you in order. So there was three of us: myself, Dave Jackson, and Adam Lyon. And they put us on the road together: Adam, then Dave, then myself, and all following Milky, obviously. And so I was like, it's fine. I've rode with Dave before, and we'll just get this lap over with. It won't be too fast. We're following Milky. That's what I thought anyway. And so I can't even remember where it was exactly. Maybe maybe Doran's Bend, I think. We were just about getting to, just after Ballasper, and I think Dave's bike blew up or was starting to blow up, so spewing out tons of oil, and it hadn't actually blown up, and so it was covering. I was getting it on my visor, so I pulled the tariff off and was like, because I was sort of shocked, I didn't know what it was to start with, and then straight away it was covered all of my visor, the screen, the front of my bike already, and then I realized obviously it was Dave's bike in front of me, so then I dropped back to get out the way of the oil, but then in the same breath then I thought, you know, he's going to carry on, and if he ends up getting oil on the back tire of his bike or something, he's probably unknowing that there's something going wrong here, and he you know could have a really bad crash. So then I'm thinking, right, I've got to catch up to pass him, but the closer I got more oil all over me and I couldn't see, and yeah, I was probably more scared I've ever been. It was just a crazy situation to be in, trying to chase someone down who's spraying you with oil, and finally did manage to get up the side of him and like flag him down a little bit and say, look, stop, like go off to the side, there's something wrong with your bike. And fortunately he did before anything worse happened. He pulled off, so he was safe, obviously had some repairs to do to the bike, and then to be honest, the rest of the lap I was my head had fell off. I felt like my whole bike was covered in oil. I had no tear offs left on my visor because I pulled them all off. My screen was still covered in oil, and I was worried like my front tire was covered in oil, which it wasn't. But so then I rode around so slowly. Milky kept like pulling away, so then I had nobody in front of me. But then as soon as he realized, he'd slow down and then pull away again, and I was like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. And I had really lost my head, and I came in, and all credit to my old team boss, John Burrows. He was I loved riding for John, and he settled me straight away. I came in after the first lap straight into the pits, and I said, there's oil everywhere, it's awful, like I don't know what to do. And he said, just be calm, it's all right, we'll clean it. They wiped it all down. He said it's perfectly clean, there's nothing wrong with it, we cleaned it all up, you're good to go. Just get out there and do another couple of laps, don't come in after the next lap, just keep going, and we'll talk about it after. So I went straight back out for another 2 laps then, and yeah, it was that was an amazing feeling for me, because then I just fell in love with it from the second I went out on this next lap. It was just, you know, this is the best thing ever. Why have I not been doing this my whole life? You know, it's yeah, it's special.
Wow, brilliant. Okay, we've got Chris Price as well. He's asking, what are you doing to keep your eye in for when your racing gets go again? Yeah, so eye on the game.
So aside from all the training in the gym and everything, as such, to keep your eye on the bike, I tried to get as much bike time as I could in lockdown. Thankfully, I live in an amazing area that I've got tons of hills and woods and places to ride mountain bikes, basically. So I could get out most days on my daily exercise. Ride from my house and ride up into the hills on my mountain bike. And yeah, it doesn't have an engine, it's not quite the same, but you're still getting to ride a bike, and I really enjoyed it and kept myself fit in the doing. And now the lockdown's lifted, I'm getting out as much as possible on the motocross bike, and it's nice to be back on something with an engine for sure, but still keeping up with the cycling too.
Brilliant. So we have one other question for. Have you been teaching Glenn the TT course? I've been giving him some tips. I've seen you on the game, at least.
Yes, I've been doing a bit. He didn't speak to me so much after we did a race against each other on the first TT game at Motorcycle Live on stage in front of a few hundred people, and and I smoked him on that. So then he was a bit he was a bit sour about it, I think. But no, I know he's been practicing a lot, watching videos and everything, and I've tried to give him some advice. It's a weird position for me to be giving advice, I feel, because I still feel like a newcomer. You know, I've done 2 years. I'm still learning, and you know, the team are speaking to me like I'm the experienced one, which obviously I am, and it's just odd to be in that position. But as much as I can, I'll give Glenn help and just basically tell him what I did, and that's all I can do, I guess.
So I want to, we can bring this video up. I want to go back to the beginning, if that's all right, Dave, because you kindly sent us this video, and I want to hear the story behind it. I think it's fantastic. So what age are you on this video? Because you've been on the bike since 3. Is that 3 years old?
That's started? 3. That is my first day riding a motorbike.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Christmas Day when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, my dad got me a bike and done it up. My mum went crazy because he'd spent like £300 on this this rough bike. He'd made it look a bunch nicer, and you know, it's the only memories I have before this time is watching racing on TV, off-road, motocross, MotoGP, the TT, anything. My dad's always loved racing, and my dad's never raced himself, but always loved bikes and had bikes on the road and stuff. So yeah, as soon as I was old enough, I was desperate to have a bike, and he got me one when I was pretty young, and you know, I've never got off one as such.
Can you remember the feeling then? That you must be able to remember being on that bike for the first time as a 3-year-old. Can you still tune into the feeling when you first got on it?
It was the best thing ever. We've still got the video somewhere of me actually opening it. They sort of wrapped it up on Christmas Day for me, and you know, I've never been as excited in my life to get a motorbike, and it was, you know, the only thing that I wanted in the world. I didn't want anything else, and you know, it was motorbikes for me, and it always has been. And yeah, the feeling when I first got on, when I still don't really understand even now. Like, I guess you can just do things when you're that age, but I could just ride, sort of thing. My dad pushed me away, and it held the back for a bit, and then let go, and I could just ride around that way. Like what you see in there is like literally my first day on the bike there. So it was yeah, I don't know how, but there must be something there.
Brilliant shot. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. So moving forward then, you've obviously had a great career before you moved into road racing with the Supermoto Bikes Championship. So you made quite the impression. And
Yes.
Go for it. So the switch from that to road racing, how has that been for you, that transition?
That transition wasn't too bad. The Supermoto was a perfect transition for me from growing up off-road, like you see there. You know, I've always loved motocross bikes, and I still do now. That's where I started. Obviously, technically a motocross bike when I was 3, but I started racing motocross at 6 years old, I think, 6-7 years old, and loved racing straight away. Just that competitive thing inside of me, always wanting to be better and wanting to win, and so raced that for a lot of years, a bit of enduro, also off-road. Then the Supermoto was the perfect transition for me because it's a motocross bike, sort of a motocross style, but on a lot of tarmac, you know, split between the tarmac and off-road too. So that gave me the sort of getting used to the riding on tarmac then. So, you know, the feeling of leaning a bike over and having grip, which you don't have on a motocross bike, it's that change, I would say, was almost more difficult. But then I jumped from the Supermoto to the sports bikes, and it was the riding position that got me. I could go fast, but just completely not with the right style, because instead of putting your leg out, you put your knee out, and instead of leaning the bike over, you lean your body over and keep the bike up. So it's all sort of the opposite way around, if you will. And that was a bit difficult to get to, but I don't know, you soon get to grips with it and gel with it. And yeah, I think that was my second time on a sports bike or something. I was just eager to get my knee down, to be honest.
Yeah.
That was the most important thing. And then as soon as I did that, I got my knee down. That was the first time at Rockingham, and I got my knee down. And then straight after that, I was just set my goal. I want to get my elbow down then, and just had a thing about that.
Wow. So I'm going to just share a couple more questions with you, Davey, if that's all right. So the Black Dub campsite are asking, will you get to do some short circuit races for Honda, possibly Superstock for some of the upcoming BSB rounds this year? Because they've just announced, haven't they, that they're going to have a 6-round championship.
So yeah, basically for me, the goal was to do the full Superstock 1000 championship for Honda. Like a lot of people seem to think now, a lot of people suggested to me that I do a couple of rounds, but a lot of people don't know that I actually want to be on short circuit to be competitive. I don't want to go there just for practice to get me up to speed for the TT. I know it will do that, but that's not my my sole purpose, if you will, of going there. I still feel like I can go to short circuits and be competitive. You've seen Peter Hickman obviously do it, and be competitive at both, and I see myself in the same light and wanting to do the same thing. And now I've got a good opportunity, a good platform with Honda, who are a roads team and a short circuit team, and a good team for both. It's the ideal scenario for me, where I can hopefully go to both events and be competitive.
Great. Brilliant. Also, Neil Russell says, how good was it to ride the 250cc in the Classic?
That was amazing. Yeah. I don't know if I should tell the
share it. It's
when I first rode the 250. I'm not sure Clive Padgett will want to hear the story again, that's for sure, because I'd rode two-stroke motocross bikes and off-road, but never rode a two-stroke bike on the tarmac. And obviously most guys build up with 125s and 250s, maybe back a few years now. But for me, the first time on tarmac, I jumped on a 600 and rode 600s and then 1000cc bikes. So I'd never had experience of riding something like that, but always wanted to, because there's a lot of people really passionate about two-strokes, and I love two-stroke motocross bikes too. So the story is anyway that I had no time on it. Clive, being Clive, he's so thorough with everything and makes sure everything's done right, and didn't want me to ride the 250 round the TT course having never rode it before. And we'd had no chance to do it up until the point of the Classic TT. And I'd been away racing a European Championship with the Penn 13 BMW team, and had no time. So he was like, right, we need to sort something, because I don't want you riding it for the first time around the mountain course. So it took us to Derby Circuit. It was a freezing cold day, as probably it always is at Derby. Really windy. We just got there in time for the last couple of sessions or something. The guy said, look, it's a 250. They're really aggressive. It's a GP bike. It's crazily rigid chassis, and it's amazing, but you need to get used to it and take it easy. So I was just really excited about riding it more than anything, and got on it, spun 2 laps, I think, and was taking it steady. But I was like, this is amazing. This is the best bike I've ever rode. Like, it handles so well. It's incredible. And obviously then forgetting that they told me to take it easy, and they really bite hard when they do, and came round for my third lap and just flicked onto the start straight and had like a massive high side on my third lap on this bike, which I was going there for like a quick shakedown, and smashed this nearly priceless bike to bits, and gave the guys a bunch of work to do in the next 48 hours they had to build it before our first practice session on it. Then that terrified me probably more, because definitely this tiny little bike is so vicious, and caught me out really bad. But it gave me that respect, and I think everybody who's rode a two-strokes experienced that same thing. Once I got used to it around the TT course, I got back to that feeling that I had on the second lap of Derby, and it just incredible. And I was so eager to ride it again this year. Just honestly, the best handling bike that I've ever rode in my whole life.
Wow. We've got the great Roy Moore that's commented. Roy said Glenn Owen did an impersonation of the commentator at Ramsey Live on Manx Radio last year. He was very good. Brilliant. Okay, Terry Vernon says, do you have a favourite part of the TT course? You see Marshalls at Gorsley, and it's unbelievable the speed that you come through there.
That's tough. I get asked this a lot, the favourite part, and definitely my favourite part to watch is Gorsley. He's got amazing part to Marshall there. I went to watch the Manx last year. I cycled there and went to watch the Manx there, and it's incredible the speed that the Manx guys go through there. I can't imagine what it's like watching the top TT guys go through there. But to ride, I find myself going around the course piece by piece and going, I love this part, I love this part, I love this part. And I just love every part there are. It's all brilliant. It's all what makes the course. But if I had to pick one section for me, I think it'd have to be the mountain section. It's fast. I love going fast. Like, the faster the better for me. And fast, flowing, smooth, it all opens out, and you feel like you're going so slow, but you're going insane speeds, and it just flows nice. It compares quite well to a short circuit. So yeah, I think the mountain section would be my favorite bit.
I watched a great there's about a 5-minute video of you talking about a lap around the course, and you talk about what's going through your head when you get after Hilbury, and you're about to turn right up to Glencrutchery Road, and when you're thinking, right, okay, I've made it all the way around, I've just completed my lap, I cannot up here. But you don't think what's actually going around probably in your head. So as you get into that corner and you're taking your right, you obviously think, shit, stay in control.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's something come from playing the game or what, but it's I literally feel that way every time I come round. I don't try at all going through those little corners. I just get round them, because I'm like, more the case of like, obviously you don't want to crash anywhere on the course. It's like, there's lots worse places, but if you crash there, you wouldn't get hurt. It'd just be really, really embarrassing that you've like fell over at 5 miles an hour or something whenever you go through that section. And yeah, it's just really carefully negotiate these twisty little tight corners and finish my lap and get going again.
Brilliant. We've got a question here about your mountain bike. Where's your favorite place to ride your mountain bike?
That's there's so many places near me. It's brilliant. I feel pretty grateful that I live in the perfect place probably for mountain biking, and that's that photo there's like just this tiny little woods near where I live, Skelton Green, in between Skelton and Gisborough Woods, a massive section of woodland. There's tons of downhill mountain bike trails, and Hampsterley Forest is great as a proper purpose-built place. All these other places are like homemade and made by a group of guys that'll go around and build these homemade trails, but Hampsterley Forest is a purpose-built place, and it's pretty cool. That's not too far. That's maybe an hour from me. So
stunning pics. And also he says, does it help keep you sharp, prepping you for racing or whilst you're waiting to go racing?
Yeah, 100%. I think mountain biking for me, it keeps me sharp, and it's riding a bike, so you're still in the same position. You know, I know it's not got an engine, but I think it compares really well to riding a bike. You're still using the same muscles and everything doing it, and hitting some fast downhill trails and stuff. Your mind has to be so focused, where if you go on the road bike, you're improving your fitness, but it's not technically difficult. You're not really keeping yourself sharp, as you say. So the mountain biking, you have to be focused, you have to be accurate, or you'll hit a tree or hit a root or something that you can crash. So you have to be really aware and really sharp. So I definitely think it keeps me sharp.
I'm guessing like gripping as well. So as you ride in the grip with the wrists and the hands and all the strength through so many parts of the body, it's helping you maintain it, I'm guessing, in this time. Yeah,
absolutely. Your grip strength, your arms, legs, it works your whole body. It really is a full body workout. So it's good. I love it. I really enjoy mountain biking. So
cool pics as well. Very cool pics.
Yeah. It's all about the photos, really.
Isn't it? All about the gram. So I want to touch on the game. So there's quite a few videos out there. You've been using it a lot. You say it helps you learn the course, but obviously it's helping you get a bit of a TT fix in these times where we can't be going around the track. So it's an exciting game, isn't it? What are your thoughts on the new one? So the second one that's just been released, TT Ride on the Edge.
Yeah, so the game I think's brilliant, to be honest. For learning the course, how accurate they've made the course on the game is literally incredible. I had the good fortune to be taken over to Paris and get to look around the studios where they've made the game and everything, and meet a load of the guys in the construction of the game and how they did it and everything. And it's amazing to see how talented these people are at what they do. It's you know how accurate they've made it. They've literally made the trees tree by tree individually around the course, and there's hundreds of thousands. It's insane when they give you the numbers. It's really special. And yeah, I think for me it's an amazing thing to have. I used it absolutely tons the first game, just before, on the run up to the 2018 TT, when I was learning the course for the first time. I played the game flat out. I'd watched tons of onboard videos. I'd been to the island and done over 100 laps driving around in a car. But then the car's good. You can see things at a slower speed, but you can't. You're obviously not really going at full pace, so you don't have to think so quickly when you're going around. The onboards, you're only watching something, you're not in control. So it's, if you make a mistake in your mind of thinking it goes left when it goes right, or it's a sharp corner when it's a wide corner, the video still does it right. So the benefit of the game was, if you make a mistake, you crash. It shows you've made a mistake. So you have to really get it perfect, otherwise it goes wrong. So I just played it so much to prepare, and just before the TT in 2018, I got to like second in the world, I think, on the world leaderboard. Just because I played it that much. I'm not not usually good at games. I didn't even have a PlayStation at the time. I borrowed my brother's PlayStation and used his. So I'm not a gamer or anything, you know. It's just a thing. I literally played it that much to learn the course, and it made me good at the game as well, I guess.
You gotta get your fix from somewhere.
As far as the new one goes, I've played that tons as well. It's keeps you sharp, you know, with now having like 2 years between TTs. You forget little things, I guess, but it's nice to keep it all super fresh in your mind, and like you say, get you a little bit of a TT fix. I go on with a few other races, and you know, it gets just as competitive. You know? We're all on headsets talking to each other and trying to psych each other out, and it gets competitive, and you know, it's a bit of fun that we can have and get our TT fix when times are like they are.
It's nice to see you and Glenn on the Honda page, and you're kind of like, it sounds like you're almost kind of coaching him, because obviously you know the track and you can give him those little hints. So it was really nice to watch you kind of coaching through in those little like hints and tips that maybe you didn't even realize were just rolling out, but it was really fun to watch, but also interesting to watch as well, what you were sharing with him.
Yeah, we've done that a few times. Me and Glenn just sort of gone through laps where just talk about odd sections, little things that you don't think are, like you said, that you don't think are a big thing. You know, just little tips like that it's good to hear from a bunch of people. Don't get me wrong, it's not every tip that I tell him he'll use, but what I did when I went there as a newcomer, you take things from everybody who tells you something. So maybe 10 guys will give you a run through of a lap, and you'll take, you know, parts from everything everyone said and make your own way from that, and it all helps. So I just try and say what I can, how I do things, and if you can take something from it, then it's a bonus.
We had Mark Miller on the first episode actually, and he's replaced the control pad. He's replaced it with a wheel because he finds that a lot more comfortable for that reaction.
That's a bit weird.
You've stuck to the control pad though, which is obviously
it'd be nice to have like a whole bike simulator or something. Really,
wouldn't it?
Do that in real life. I don't think it'd be so easy to do as a car steering wheel, I guess, with the bike leaning, and I'm not sure how that would work. But
he seemed to think it was he had like a race seat, he had the wheel, it just
Oh, maybe I'm missing out on something.
You need to get you sorted. We've got Terry Vernon is saying, will you be entering the competition for the TT game if you're that good?
I don't know. I might do. I want to maybe give some other guys a chance. You know, no. There's I might have a play if it pans out at the right time. It'd be cool. I'll get too competitive though, and I'll probably sulk when I lose. When I get beat by some of the really fast guys, I know a few of my good friends who I play with more often. Those are in the like official competition, and they're really fast, a lot better than me, and which is crazy because I'm the one who races around there. These are a couple of guys who don't race around there, and they've got really fast at it, and I'll go on a night, log on with them, we'll do a lap or whatever, and they'll absolutely smoke me, you know, do a way better lap time, and then I'll just be like, right, I'm quitting, absolutely rage quit off the game, and I don't want to play anymore, and like because I don't like, still can't take losing that well.
Need to work on that one. All right, I want to move on to the Goodwood revival. So I saw a gorgeous video of you. That's one event I've not managed to get to yet. It's absolutely at the top of my list, and classics for me, I just love. So that video, wow, it looks wicked. It must have been quite special to be a part of it. It was the Barry Sheen Memorial as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's but definitely one of the best events I've ever been to in my life. Just incredible. There's no way of explaining it. You've got to go. It's like nothing else. It's literally like walking into the 1950s, 1940s. Like you've moved back in time, because everything has transformed. There's hundreds of thousands of people there, all dressed up, and yeah, it's just awesome to experience that, and such a great event what they put on there, and some great dinners, and just seeing everything that's going on, the classic cars, the classic bikes, the actual ride and the bike at Goodwood Revival is probably the like bottom of the list of things for me at Goodwood Revival. Just going there is it was an honor for me to be invited to go there, because I know so many top guys talk about how good it is. So I was so grateful to be invited to go, and I hope I get the opportunity to go back again, because I loved every second of it.
And who sent you the invite?
It was I'm not sure how it worked out in the end. My manager Nancy is great with dealing with stuff like that for me, and she helps me out, and yeah, just got it sorted. I think it was actually because somebody else had dropped out, I couldn't do it, and I got the chance to step in and fill their spot, and hopefully earned my place to stay. I don't know.
And what bike did they have you on?
A classic Norton. It was
wow.
You couldn't ask me the Manx Norton.
Oh, look at that! Stunning.
I do not know enough about those things. I love riding them. They're great fun, and it's so different to riding modern bikes. And having done a couple of classic TTs now, and getting to do that, it's cool to get to ride the classic machinery, and gives you a lot of respect for the guys who used to do it back in the day and race on those things. And you think, that was insane. They used to, the roads were a lot worse than they are now, and they used to do some serious lap times on those bikes. And yeah, it's it gives you a whole new respect for them, that's for sure.
Brilliant. Just see what other questions we have here. Daniel Ferguson, we have hey Davey, can stick to his day job on real bikes because his gaming skills are seriously lacking.
Daniel's my friend who I'm on about, who seems to smoke me every time we go on it, so
good timing.
He plays it way too much. I think he just practices too much. He's got no life at all. He just plays PlayStation.
Lockdown life, though, isn't it? Lockdown life.
Yeah, pretty much. But,
so I've just got 3 questions just to close us off, Davey, if that's all right. I just want to ask you your favourite thing about the TT as an event.
One thing about the TT, the finishing, getting to start the TT. It's the most depressing thing ever. Finishing the senior is amazing feeling when you come across the line and hopefully got a good result and whatever, but it's not, you just come across, and it's so, to complete 6 laps round that place just gives you an amazing feeling, sort of, no matter where you've come, no matter your lap time, it just is like, I've completed it, I've done my 6 laps. It's a real special feeling, that. But then you go in, sort of cool down a little bit, and you're like, absolutely gutted that I don't get to do this again for another 12 months. I want to keep going. I don't want my 2 weeks to end around the TT. I want to just do it year round, I think.
It's addictive for me. I grew up there, and we used to live for the TT, right? And once you've got a taste for it, there's no going back. And I can't imagine that taste as a spectator is there for me, but as a rider, you know.
No, completely. I understand that from going there in 17 as a spectator for the first time. And I said, you know, I'd been there a couple of days, I think. And I said, I obviously want to do this, and started progressing down the avenues. But I said, if I will come here every year, even if I don't race, it's like the best 2 weeks of the year. It's just brilliant. Like, trying to pick one amazing thing about it, every single part of being at TT is awesome. Like, it couldn't be better for me, and it's definitely the 2 best weeks of my year. So that's why I'm so gutted we're not getting it this year. But I really would go every single year, even if I wasn't riding a bike.
It's going to taste extra sweeter next year. I'm sure it will.
And so.
Yeah. And the most, I've got 2 more, most toughest or enjoyable moments so far in your road racing career.
Toughest in 18, in my first senior TT. So we completed the full thing, had a great 2 weeks with the Borough's engineering team, and came in for my first pit stop in the senior and changed a visor. Some weird reason we could never work out. My visor didn't go in properly, and it wouldn't close. Like, it closed, but there was still maybe this much that was still open. And going out a pit lane with it open, and I was trying to pull it down, and I'm like, what do I do? Do I pull over? You can't do 200 mile an hour with your visor open. And you know, then it all goes through your head of, this is my first senior TT. This is the one everybody is here for, the senior, the biggest one. I don't want it to end on a bad note. I was like, I'll make it work. I'll ride with it open. And yeah, those 2 laps trying to ride flat out on a super bike, doing 200 plus miles an hour with your visor open is just, yeah, it's not great. And I hope I never have to do that again in my life, because it's not easy. And ended up coming in. Fortunately, we had a spare helmet. Changed my helmet in the second pit stop, which is a really weird feeling.
Wow.
And did the final 2 laps and ended up with a really good result. So I was pleased with that. But definitely the toughest thing, the most enjoyable, almost that too. The amazing feeling of having completed it and gone through all that and finished the race was good. Every time you get to race around that course it couldn't be more enjoyable. It's just awesome fun, and you wish you could ride around there forever, because there's no track like it. My top moment can't beat that last lap of the senior last year, and going into 131, nearly 131 and a half mile an hour lap was something I really didn't expect. We had a tough 2 weeks, you know, a lot going on, terrible weather, losing my best mate and my teammate. And yeah, it was just a crazy 2 weeks. And then to finish it off with that, I came in, I wanted a 130. It's special to join the 130 club, but they came in after my last lap. The team told me I'd done the 130 on my first lap and I was over the moon. And then somebody actually ran over and said, it's not 130. The scoreboard's updated. The last lap was even better and did a 131 and a half. And I honestly, at that point, I didn't even care where I'd finished. It was just that I'd done that lap speed. It was something, you know, it was just a special feeling to having done that and be up with some incredible guys that are my heroes. And, you know, I've done a lap time that almost compares to to that, it's it's a good feeling for me.
Great. And final one before I let you go. If you had a music track to gear you up and get you ready to go out on the bike, what would it be? Or what is it? Do you have one?
So
there is one in there.
Me, and a lot of people take the mick of my music all the time. I'm really into country music, and
Right.
most people get geared up by like some pumped up, fast like dance music or heavy rock music, and like want to really get like focused and pumped up, whereas I ride good when I'm super relaxed. So I go the opposite way and just want to listen to something that really chills me out, and then I ride better. So yes, I'd stick on some country music or something, and just really chill out, get on a bike like I'm relaxed, like I'm going for a Sunday ride, and then set off to race for TT.
Very good. I love it. Brilliant. And what you're going to let us into? What country music artist you'd listen to, or is that a secret? Is that okay?
There's a lot. I love tons of country, but picking a few of my favorites at the minute: Morgan Wallen, Jordan Davis, Chris Stapleton. There's too many. There really is too many to name. A whole selection of it I like. It's just relaxes me. It's so chilled out, and I think it suits me as music.
Very good. So you just spent some time in the States, haven't you? Is that where you injured yourself?
Yeah.
It's a bit of an injury.
Not a great thing to remember, but I went out to the States to train over winter, to stay with a friend, Brad Ward, who races Moto America series in America, obviously. Stay with him and train with him, ride some motocross, and obviously do everything that I would do here in a much nicer climate, which was a really nice opportunity for me. Obviously, trying to train and ride bikes here during winter is pretty awful with it. It's raining now and we're meant to be in summer, aren't we? So doing it in winter, it's a horrible experience trying to ride motocross. All the tracks are closed. So got the opportunity to go out there, and you can ride every day at different tracks and get as much training in a bike time as possible. So hopefully I'll get back there at the off season as soon as we finish this year. I'll get back there and get enjoying the sun again.
Yeah, when they allow us back in.
Yeah, well, that's a big thing,
isn't it? Right, Davey, thank you so much. It's been fantastic to get to know you a little bit more, and I'm really excited to see what you do on the bike next year at the TT. Not many days left until the next one, but yeah, thanks. You've got your gain, you've got your little fix there. Just keep that going. So what is next for you though? So when will we see you next out on the bike?
So the next time I'll be on the bike, racing wise, the last 6 rounds, or the 6-round championship that we're going to have now for British Superbikes in Superstock 1000 for the Honda team. I'm excited that we're actually getting some racing this year, because it was looking at one point like we weren't going to. So at least we're going to get a little bit of a racing fix and see what we can do this year. Hopefully we'll have a good few rounds on the brand new Fireblade. So it's exciting times, really.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you, Davey. Best of luck with the 6-round season. I look forward to seeing you at the TT next year. Bring it on.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. Take care, Davey. Thank you.
Cheers. See ya.
Thanks, everyone, for contributing, for sending in your questions. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, I'm back on here at 9:30 a.m. with the great Roy Moore, where we're having TT. Just so brew up, have a nice little cup of tea with Roy and hear about his mountain memories. And then we have Mr. Bushies in the house at 12 o'clock. And then what do we have coming up at 4 o'clock? But the great Carl Cox. He will be joining us and talking about his history with bikes and motorsport, his passions for it, etc. So what a full-on day for what would have been the senior race day. So come and join us, contribute to the conversation, and I look forward to seeing you there. This was the Tales of the TT Live, powered by Podium Vodka, the spirit of motorsport.